What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about the reasons why I rather stay alone and not fuck with a lot of people like that, and the reason why I don't mind being alone or I don't mind being isolated, so I can work on my goals, so I can work on my craft and things I'm passionate about and the things I enjoy doing, like working out, studying my craft, the things I love, and again, fitness. Basically, just working out and studying, pretty much, and knowing more about myself, knowing about more spirituality, and studying so I can improve my career and learning about different things this world has to offer compared to being around fucking humans, right? Now, not and obviously not everyone is bad, but most people are bad in this world, right? So let's get to it. I'm not jaded or bitter or anything. It's just that I have a lot of experiences being around people and shit like that, and they're all the same. So this video is gonna be about reasons why the reasons why I don't fuck with a lot of people, right? The reasons why I actually love staying isolated, and I've been single my whole life as well. And the reasons why I don't want to be in a relationship, unless someone's actually at my fucking level. And I feel like the universe forcefully put me in a situation where I was forced to be alone, pretty much. But let's get to it. It's kind of be a heavy topic. I might not go too much into detail because it's very triggering for me. But it's very triggering. It's just human beings are just pieces of shit, man. Let's get to it. The type of shit God will put you through, man, just so you can evolve. But yeah. But the reason why I don't fuck with a lot of people like that is, one, they project. So the more you heal yourself, the more you do a lot of shadow work, the more you work on your goals, trying to become great. For some reason, at least for me, for you might be different, but for me, I tend to attract a lot of people who tend to project their insecurities, their trauma, and their issues towards me, right? Whether they're trying to embarrass me in front of people or in front of females, or like they're trying to like point out things that so they can make fun of me, based on all that's based on insecurity and based on their own issues, right? So I've been around family members, grown adults twice my height, twice my age, and it's people in general where they'll project their insecurities onto me, right? Or like they're trying to point out a flaw within me, right? It's not a self-criticism. It's more so like they're just talking shit. Or like either that or like they'll do it indirectly. So they'll do it in a jokingly way, just so they can get approval from other people. And it's weird. I've always been around people like that. And they'll do this shit at the most random times. So it could be spiritual warfare. It could be they're influenced by demonic entities that they're not even aware of because their vibrating is so fucking low. Because let's be real, the average human being, they don't do shit to know more about themselves, to do shadow work. Most human beings, let's be real, they eat toxic foods. They entertain themselves with bullshit like social media and TV and all this other bullshit. And they play fucking video games and shit. And they eat bad foods and they don't take care of themselves like that. So because of that, more than likely they're vibrating at a low frequency, so they're going to be easily influenced by the fucking devil or by spiritual entities that are negative. And they like to target people who are trying to do great, who are trying to know more about themselves, which are trying to vibrate at a higher frequency. They're trying to bring these people down. So this is why I can't be around people like that. Now, there are different things you can combat that, like doing more shadow work, because the more shadow work you do, the more healing work you do. When people do shit like that, you're able to see them for who they are, and you can see a higher perspective about that, which is they're insecure and the projecting is not personal, which I'm aware of that. And I'm aware I still need to do healing work because it still affects me. But at the same time, I don't have to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I am being bitter or jaded with people, but this is why, like, me growing up, I never had a problem being alone, but I'm still a human. But I feel like, so there are times I do crave being around like-minded people and shit like that. So I developed codependency and shit like that. But more so, God put me in situations where like I was around very retarded, dysfunctional family members. So my theory is that like either my soul purposely volunteered to go through experiences to where like I'm not around the right people for me, just so I can do the healing work. And once I get to the other side, I can help a fuckload of people along the way, and that's probably my part of my soul mission. If that's the case, and that makes sense on why I have to go through so much bullshit, and I'm always around just stupid ass people like that, just so I know what it's like to just constantly being degraded, just picked on, or not even that, but more so like just being around just shitty people. So once I do the healing work, like, I don't know, man, like it's frustrating, man. Like there are times where I feel like I purposely chose to experience this, or God or the universe purposely chose me to experience this, or I might have a lot of karma. Because it makes no sense. Because I was born into a family, right? and I had to cut all of them off because they're so fucking toxic, and like they would physically and verbally harm me. They always degrade me, and it was so bad to the point where I was forced to cut them off. Now I'm in the military. Now I'm away from them, and I don't deal with them, and I'm in so much peace. I don't want to fucking deal with them. Like, I blocked fucking all of them. I don't keep in contact with none of them. I'm to the point where like I could care less if they were to pass away or if they were to die. I would not show up to their funeral. I do not give a fuck. I do not give a fuck based on the things they've done, because I'm aware they're just done. Like, they're spiritually done. You know, their minds are just fucked and do not know. So it'd be dangerous for me to be around them. That's like suicide, you know? If I never would have joined the military and enlisted, I probably would have been dead or in jail by now, you know, if I was with them. But, and not only that, but I never been around like-minded people like that. The only times I'll meet closest to like-minded people is through the internet. I never met like-minded people through online. I mean through in person. I've only met like-minded people through the internet. So I feel like God or the universe will kind of force me to be isolated for a long period of time. I'm 26, so pretty much my whole life, you know, which has its pros and cons. The pros is that like I know more about myself than the average person. I know what I want and don't like, and it's easier for me to develop a strong work ethic. I know more about myself. I know what I want. And it's easier for me to become great. Like when it comes to fitness, when it comes to health, when it comes to my studies, I tend to get better results because I'm always alone. And it made me more comfortable with being alone. For the average person who always wants to seek validation from outside circumstances, from outside people and shit like that. This is why their relationships are shallow. Their romantic relationships are shallow. Their friendships are shallow. Everything they want in life is shallow. Versus me, when I'm always alone and shit, I want things that are not shallow. I want things that are, you know, great. And a lot of people who are isolated like that, who are isolated, they want the same thing. This is why people say, the less people around, the less drama you're around with. So especially the older you get in, it's going to help you out in the long run. The older you get, the more you have to be alone. The more you just can't tolerate being around a lot of people, because a lot of people ain't shit. This is why it's so dangerous to be around like-minded people or to be so given and open to people. But not only that, but I've always been exposed, or God or the universe always exposed me to around a lot of narcissistic, a lot of selfish fucking people, right? Where they'll steal money from me, or like they always want things from me and not give it back, or they'll just be so fucking fake. People are fake as fuck. And just like what Chauncey once said, when you're interacting with the average human being, they're not really interacting with you because people are so fucking useless and fake. They're more so, they just want you to cater to their emotions. You know, shout out to Chauncey. He mentioned that people just want you to cater to their emotions. This is all when you're talking to people. He mentioned like notice how like all the conversations is based on their needs, you know, and he's right. You know, this is why like people, they ain't shit. You know, they just, the only reason why they are the way they are is because of they expect you to fulfill their desires. People are selfish like that, you know. So I'm to the point where like if someone is not willing to be at my level, or at least at my frequency, or at least have a lot of emotional intelligence, then I'm not going to be around you. I'm not, you know. What sucks though is that like when you're in a higher frequency, or like you know more about yourself, or you're just less tolerable of like just dumbass people, you're forced to be alone. And there are things to combat being alone, but it sucks because as human beings, we're social creatures. So we desire loving connections, and we desire friendship and bonds from people. That's part of life, right? Because as human beings, we're meant to reproduce and shit like that, and other shit, right? But so naturally, you're gonna feel hurt, you're gonna be in pain, and you're gonna feel alone. But there are ways to combat that. Versus one, doing your shadow work and doing healing work, focusing on what you love, like your passions, your career, self-expression, like making videos. You can also be closer to a higher power, like a higher source. People like to refer it as getting close to God, getting close to the universe, or getting close to your spirit or your higher self, or getting tapped in. This is where you get your love energy from, you know, but versus within versus outer circumstances. Like people, they'll seek love from like weed, drugs, addictions, food, sex, people, shit like that, which is bad. We're just gonna harm you in the long run. So you gotta learn. This is important to do the shadow work and healing work, so you can find love within yourself instead of an outside circumstance. And then shout out to other YouTubers, because I got these from them. I got these from like New Mind Frame, especially. Check her out. She talks about that, and other people. You know what I'm saying? And they're right. But I came to the conclusion is that like how I look at it is this: if God is gonna purposely and always put me around these people who I don't really like, and they're always doing something to harm me and shit like that, then why not be alone and focus on being great? Like, I have things I'm passionate about. I have things I look forward to working on, like my studies, my fitness, working out, running, taking care of myself and doing hobbies like that. So why not put all my focus onto that versus put my focus in being around dumbass people that I'm trying to seek validation from, just like everyone else. You know what I'm saying? And whoever's meant to be in my life, they're meant to be in my life. It gets annoying where like there are times where like I give certain people benefit of the doubt and they always disappoint me. This is why people ain't shit. A lot of people are like that. So this is why I tend to be alone, or like I rather stay alone, because I just had a bad history with people. It's not that, and it's weird too, because me, I make a lot of friends. I'm very likable, and I know how to adapt within any social situations. But because I'm like that, I also attract the wrong types of people. And not only that, but like people feel like, because they sense that love and energy from me, they tend to like project, either they realize it or not, but they tend to project that shit a lot. Especially people who are vibrating high, or they know themselves, or they're doing a lot of healing work. They tend to attract a lot of people who are vibrating low, because people are vibrating, because opposites attract. That's why. So they see that light, they want to be they want to be around that light, and since they're so fucking toxic, they're so negative and shit, they'll project all their negativity towards that light. So that's all I gotta say. Just know more about yourself, do the healing work, and yeah, that's the reason why I'd rather stay alone. And not only that, but if you're alone, you get more results. I go more into detail, but I don't feel like making this video long. Like, comment, subscribe, have a good one. Peace.